Welcome, guys, to a new episode of the Real Football Talk. Today, we'll be discussing a record-breaking day for Liverpool again for all the wrong reasons and a great win by Chelsea. Today, I have with me Adil and Rule. Rule, what did you make of the first half from Liverpool and Chelsea?
Well, watching the game, he was watching Liverpool play the whole season. Standard 4-3-3 formation. We knew Chelsea were going to line up with the three centre-backs, with the wing-back, with the two in the middle, with one holding, with Jorginho. And it was the same. In the past 3 months, since maybe end of December, it's been the same way of playing, the same way of, well, I would say passive playing, side to side, no chances created. The game, well-deserved. Chelsea deserved that game. And they played, tactically, they outclassed Liverpool. Tuchel knew where the weak points were for Liverpool. Tuchel knew that over the top, that with Werner's pace, we're going to get behind them. I called him before the game. I was watching the game and I was thinking, hang on a minute, I hope we don't play a high line here because Werner's going to exploit us. And guess what happened? We played a high line. Now, I don't know what Klopp's thinking behind about that is the fact that much of a high line in the first 25 minutes, you knew they were hitting you with the long ball. Trent was numerous times out of position and they got behind us. We got lucky with an offside goal that Werner tucked away. Alisson had to come. Now, people blame Alisson for mistakes. Now, looking at that game, they're forcing Alisson to come out majority of the time when the ball's going played over the top. Now, what concerns me more about that half is I don't understand what Klopp's philosophy or thinking behind it is. When you know you're going to get exploited, he doesn't seem to change it. We had the possession in the second half. The first half, I'll be honest with Chelsea, near enough dominate that half, clear-cut chances. Chelsea should have been near enough 3-0 up before the half-time. Unfortunately, some of the chances they missed, but I can't understand the way Liverpool are playing. It's really concerning at this present moment is we ain't creating nothing. We ain't, defending properly at the same time. But most important thing is playing poor and losing is a big concern. Now we have numerous talented players on that pitch. We bought Thiago. He's a fantastic player. Does he fit the system of Klopp? There's questions about that. Mane out of form. Bobby Firmino out of form. Trent out of form. How long can Klopp go with the same system, the same tactic, and the same players week in, week out? Astonishingly, that's the fifth game we've lost at Anfield. It's a record break. I've never heard. I don't think it's ever been done. I think this was today. Was right, Hassan? Now I've been supporting Liverpool. I've seen some really bad times, and I don't see any improvement. Now Klopp is world-class manager. Now sometimes I'm going to have to start questioning him. Now, is he tactically being stubborn and he's going to play one way? He's not going to change it, or is he going to carry on playing? Because I don't see results coming, Hassan. I really don't. Frustrating as a Liverpool fan watching it, and I know you guys have been doing the shows, and we talk tactically. We know what the flaws of Liverpool are. We know Liverpool's back line, the defensive line, the two centre-backs, we have a problem. We haven't got anyone there. We know that Trent leaves gaps. This is why Henderson is really important to a team when he plays in midfield. He covers those areas. Gomez, when he plays, yes, even Gomez makes mistakes, but because of his pace, he covers those areas. Now, if Tuchel, hats off to him. He exploited that section today. That area of Trent every time. The Mount goal, the Werner attacks, they all came from that side. They all came that side. They hardly came through the Robertson side. There was no. I'm not sure, Hassan, if you're aware. You watched the game on the left-hand side. Was there any attacks going through that side?
Hardly on the Robertson side now.
Now, game planned out exactly how I expected it to plan out. Liverpool had possession. Chelsea hit the long ball. and they hit us in areas where it hurt Liverpool. They hit that one area. And the concerning thing is, as a fan, we see it. As a manager, when Klopp's standing on sideline, I'm sure he sees it. Now, I don't know what it is that I don't know if he's stubborn that he don't want to change it, or he thinks that playing in the front foot will eventually, get us a goal. And today, Chelsea did one thing fantastic. They beat our press. They played around that press. Like, they've been playing.
That's why they went for Jorginho instead of Kovacic. Just
100%. That press between Salah, Mane, and Bobby, they were doing triangular passes around that three players at press. Now, when that happens, the game is wide open because one ball through between them, and then it was a ping across the right side where Trent was obviously trying to overlap, and I don't think Trent even overlapped once today. I think that left side Chilwell and Rudiger covered that side very well. So Trent and Salah Salah eventually came off due to the fact that he was getting no joy down that side. I don't know what you think, Sheikh, what I just said about the first half. And it followed through to the second half too.
I mean, Adi, before you answer, I just wanted to kind of add a couple of things he mentioned, and I want to ask about that as well with your answer. He mentioned about this Liverpool team kind of losing their hunger and drive. It seems they haven't got the energy. Is that a problem as well, that they haven't got energy? Plus, another point he mentioned with regards to Trent keep pushing forward with the gap. We've talked about this before on our show. Surely, if everyone's seeing it, surely the manager sees it too. Why is that getting solved?
I think what is there's a recurring theme with the problem Liverpool have, but today's game, actually you have to put on like Ruhul Bhai has said, this week's one you actually have to put more down to Chelsea's preparation and tactics. What they did was they actually completely exposed those weaknesses, even with Liverpool trying to do their system and their tactics to the best of their ability. They would have struggled to dominate that game even with Van Dijk and everyone on the pitch, because Tuchel just had them so prepared to counteract the way Liverpool play. So what was really clever was both teams were attacking and playing direct in the first half. So Liverpool were actually targeting Chilwell, and Chelsea were targeting the space in behind. Not exclusively, but majority of the time, the space left in behind by Trent. So both teams were trying to do the same tactics. The problem was, number one, Chilwell was playing. So what Chelsea did in the second half against Manchester United, they went to more of a 5 at the back system. And what they started with this game, they stuck to that. So they did not push the fullbacks as high as they have been. So what happened, every time that ping happened to Salah or to Trent, Chilwell was already in the position to challenge for it. So that attack wasn't quite working. But then it caused more problems. Having Chilwell stay deep caused more problems for Liverpool's press, because what happened was the back three were getting pressed by the Liverpool front three. When the ball went out to Chilwell, Trent is now trying to press him. So you're exposing the gap deliberately by not having Chilwell push up the pitch. You're keeping him in his own half. Now Trent has to either stay back or commit to going. Because they're front foot team, he's committed to going. Thiago hasn't got the energy on that side to come across, so it has to be Trent. Now, so then what happened was the ball pinging behind was always there for Mason Mount and for Werner to attack. So I thought that was really clever. Now, the use of Ziyech was good because he kept occupying Wijnaldum. So what he did, because he's coming in and playing, and he became a decoy for the balls in behind. So what happened was you effectively, it was more, I felt the system Chelsea played was 1-10 and 2 strikers more today than 2 10s and 1 striker. And that completely exposed Liverpool's pressing game, because Thiago and Jones could not drop in because they are so fixated on Jorginho and Kante pressing them. So what happened was Chelsea's system has created the opportunities where it's literally 2v2 every single time. Now, you could say, Tuchel was able to create such a tactic and such an advantage because Liverpool are too predictable. They're playing that system, but I don't think it was due to a lack of energy. I mean, Liverpool did play with the energy, but Chelsea's adjustments were so good, it was exposing it even more. Playing with that energy cost them.
Adil, you're bang on to the point there. But what's concerning as a Liverpool fan is that we saw that in the first 25 minutes, and what's scary is that we know that Klopp is a world-class manager. No one's sitting here and doubting that Klopp's not a world-class manager, but sometimes you have to sit back and you have to shoulder the blame. You can see that dropping another 5 yards could have helped that. Let them play through us. If they're good enough, let them play through us. Why are we allowing, with one of the most quickest players in the Premier League, to one ball over the top and he's through? Now, what they did was clever. This is what another thing that concerned me. What was really clever is when Werner made that run on the left-hand side, Man was with him. It's like they both were playing really close to each other and they're occupying that area. So what was happening is Fabinho was getting dragged out, right? Because Trent's out position, Werner's gone in, Fabinho has to get dragged out. And then what happens? The gaps come in between where Man can run in. Man took that ball. That goal was, amazing goal because he'd done exactly what he needed to do. He dragged out Fabinho, tucked it into his right foot, bottom corner on his left side. There's no way he was saving that. No way he was going to get attacked unless he fouling the player. But the concern thing is, all game Chelsea attacked that area, and all game Klopp, where I see Klopp didn't fix it, and that's what concerns me. Is he didn't fix it. Even when we're last 20 minutes in the game, even we knew that we were chasing a goal. We didn't look like we're gonna get a goal. There's Liverpool from December. I think it was the Crystal Palace game when we won, I think 7-0 or something like that. Where, and came in January. We know Liverpool have injuries. Man United had injuries. Let's talk about when Man United had injuries. They had sometimes Carrick playing centre back. Teams do have injuries. Like Liverpool have 2 centre backs, 3 centre backs. We know there's a weakness there. However, your front 6, the defense, still not performing to the level that they performed last year. Now, people criticize Bobby Firmino, for example, but Bobby Firmino had an atrocious game today. And so did Sadio Mane, and so did Salah. But, people will pick on Bobby Firmino where he misses too many chances. But if you look back, is today's game, apart from the Mane chance where the ball went over the top, where he tried to catch it first time.
Firmino had a header.
A header from Firmino
that he should have hit.
Yeah.
To the touchline, not even out for
yeah. So if you look at those two, Liverpool last season when we were 1-0 down, Liverpool would create 3 or 4 or 5 chances.
Right.
Because we scored 2 or 3 and we might have missed 3, it didn't look, Liverpool have turned the ball over. I can't blame the defense for us playing bad because injuries happen, right? And what the most concerning thing, and this will go back to net last year, where when we saw Lovren, right? He didn't replace. We got rid of Hoover to Wolves with the Jota deal. He didn't replace. That's upcoming defender. So there's 2 defenders that scored that he didn't replace. He had faith with the youngster. He never thought that we're going to get injuries. And then obviously January came along. We didn't buy. We panic buyed at the end of the board. Bought the 2 defenders, Kabak and Davis. However, he hasn't fixed the problem of the fact that the front 3 and the midfield You can press, you can run, and you can have possessions in every game. And Liverpool tend to have possession. Today, for some reason, Liverpool didn't have that much percentage of the ball until the second half. But if you look at the last 25 minutes, Liverpool were in front of Chelsea defense, and Chelsea just contained them. There was nothing coming through, apart from the one where Bobby Firmino got past Kante and he played it back. Apart from that, there was nothing. And that is really concerning for me, as we're not going to win the league. Are we going to get top 4 playing like that? Is it going to change overnight? No, it's not going to change overnight. And what's concerning is the fact that, Chelsea came with a game plan. Chelsea pinpointed where they're going to hit us, and Chelsea executed it and they won the game. Same with Burnley, same with Brighton, same with all the other teams that have come to Anfield. We've had the ball. They stuck to the game plan. They executed it and they took away points, right? Looking forward, Sheikh, I don't know what you think about it. What do you think the fundamental problem is with this Liverpool team? Because it is really concerning.
I mean,
we know Chelsea. We know. Let's cut to the straight. We know Chelsea deserved to win today. Chelsea had a game plan. They, Mount, what a player. I'm going to sit here. People talk about Phil Foden. People talk about Hudson-Odoi and Greenwood and Rashford and all these players. Mount, what a player. The guy, he don't stop running. Every time I watch him play, he's technically very good with both feet. He can strike a ball, and he's getting better and better and better. And today, he just stood out. We had Thiago, Gigi Wijnaldum, and Jones in midfield. Okay, Jones is still young, but you had Thiago, who's won 9 championships in a row. Gigi won the Premier League last year, won the Champions League, and Mount was just running rings. It's like, they couldn't come near him. Now, last season when we had Fabinho and Henderson, we would have broke the play up and we would have attacked. We haven't got that. We haven't got plan B. How do we get a result, Sheikh? What do you think? What is actually going wrong with Liverpool at the present moment?
Well, I would say is the Liverpool. It's going to sound like I'm repeating myself because, but this is the thing that I think everyone's starting to get worried is the fact that maybe a lot of people can see the problem, but maybe Klopp just ain't making no adjustments to the problems that Liverpool have. So, number one, I think the reason why you're not creating chances is because your biggest creative force was your gegenpress, the counter pressing.
Yeah.
Now you've lost Henderson, you've moved Wijnaldum. Those 2 players were so good at counter pressing, so good at reading those clearances, those balls. They recycled it, and then you got a fast break. You're attacking when the opposition thinks they're going to come out, and you got a fast break, and in that transition you create a goal. That's not happening because you've messed your whole midfield lineup. And you haven't got guys who, right now, Jones and Thiago cannot read that the counter pressing. They can't read where that ball is going. Then
they got the leg for it either.
Sorry,
I don't think they got the leg for it either because
they haven't got the energy for it. Well, Jones has, but he's very attacking. He's still learning the role. There's a lot to that role to understand because sometimes you're pressing, sometimes you're covering. It took, the reason why it took Klopp so many years to get Liverpool winning was because partly it took that long for Henderson and Wijnaldum to master the counter-pressing system. So it's a hard system for backups to learn and pick up and just go with. So I really think that's a problem. The second thing is this arrogance to over-attack. Now, you have problems in your back line. You got Fabinho again unfit, which was a criticism we made when he came back against City. We felt he wasn't fit for a big game like that. Today, the way again, Mount isn't the fastest player. I mean, he's got a bit of pace, but it was way too easy for someone just to walk across you. This is already in the box. This attack is happening in the box. So it's way too easy for someone to walk across you, pick their spot and shoot. He wasn't even 2 yards close to Mount at any point. That tells you he's just not matched sharp for a game of that. So if you've got that problem where you're playing Kabak, who there's a big question mark of his ability, you've got Wijnaldum, who's really struggling in the CDM role, that central 3 are not strong enough. adjust your system to give them more cover. So, for
100%.
example, if you want to still attack with Trent, why not get Robinson to come into as a 3? So there's an extra man there protect. But you got Robinson at wide still.
Robertson,
So
yeah.
you're not protecting that back line. So you're playing with this arrogance of effectively leaving 3v3, Ziyech, Mount and Werner against Kabak,
Fabinho.
If you look at the goal, Wijnaldum leaves the CDM position to follow Werner's run. You've got Kabak for that job. You've got to stay on the edge of your box to close down the man on the ball. But so when you look at the goals, because everyone is not playing in the right position defensively, they're making errors, and they're conceding goals. If you look at the goals Liverpool concede, they're really easy goals. The opposition ain't working hard, ain't having to do anything special. It's a lot of basic elementary mistakes. It's like one ball always over the top, beat one man, and you got a shot on goal.
The crazy thing is, this is not today. This has been happening consistently for the last, say, 7 weeks. And what I don't understand now, either Klopp's been really stubborn, and I love him to bits, and what he's brought to Liverpool, I don't think anyone would have got that, but you have to start questioning him. If the system that he is playing at the moment doesn't work with the players that he's got, right, with injuries, he needs to change the system. We've been playing the 4-3-3 for 3 years now, 4 years now. And for some reason, it's not working out because you haven't got the players to play that gang and press, the intensity in midfield. I know, hand on heart, when Fabinho, when Henderson is back, and we have Van Dijk and Gomez back, and they'll be back into midfield, it'll be a totally different ball game. It'll be gang and press, getting that ball, second ball, winning that first ball, attack after attack, because the strikers will get more chances, because the opposition will make mistakes because we're going to capitalize on the mistake. Well, however, at this present moment, that's not happening. We haven't got those players. Now, our aim is, we've lost the league. We need to get to top 4. And I don't see Liverpool making the top 4 if they carry on playing like that. Now, Tuchel, he came to, let's talk about Chelsea a little bit here. Frank Lampard got sacked. Tuchel came over. Now, Tuchel knew with the caliber of players he has that Chelsea League goes, right? Chelsea League goes. They got people like Havertz that can't even get a game, who's technically a wonder kid, is going to become a superstar player eventually one day. And, you got Werner, who's been out of form. But he changed the system. He made Chelsea hard to beat. He changed it. He goes, okay, you know what? I've got all these technical players, but however we leaking goes, we're not great at defending, right? Let's play a system where it's going to be hard to beat, and we'll try to hit the counter-attack the way we're going to play, and might nick a goal and win a game. And I don't think he's lost a game, has he, yet?
No,
Since he's
drawn 3, won the rest.
Right. So, yeah, he's drawn 3 and he's won the rest. And there's an improvement. And if you ask any Chelsea fan, they'll say, he's doing a great job. And he most likely finished in the top 4 because he's got a foundation and system play. And I'm sure once he gets that system sorted, then his attacking players will start coming, because in PSG and Dortmund, he did play quite a lot of attacking football. So when they master that system, I think he'll go into a second system. Now, what I'm trying to say about Klopp is, now that system with the right players, yeah, we're destroying teams. But at this present moment, we're not destroying teams because we haven't got the right personnel. What does Klopp have to do? Because I can't get my head around it, because you can keep on chopping, changing players. We can keep on chopping, play, we can say, let's play Ox today, or let's play Gigi or Milner today. But if the system is still the same system, none of those players are going to be all right to play that system. So what do you think Liverpool need to do? Maybe, is it do we go a 4-4-2, or do we go a 5-3? Change the formation, try something different, because it ain't working. It's not working. It's very, very, very worrying.
The biggest problem Liverpool have right now is, other than Salah, which I wouldn't say he had a bad game. He was marked out the game, though. If you look at Rudiger was supporting Chilwell quite a bit. So then when Salah tried coming in, Rudiger was on him straight away. So again, I just think Chelsea really set up and done their homework on Liverpool. It was really impressive. There's much, it's what I was expecting to see from Chelsea against United. but we didn't see. But we saw today where they really were prepared. Everything they did exposed Chelsea. Liverpool. But the problem they have now is you got Mane, you got Firmino on form. You got Mane playing like Firmino currently. I mean, both of them look like the same player at the moment. They're missing chances. They can't get control of the ball. They're always losing the ball when they dribble in. Both players are totally off. So you got problems with your front three. You got problems with legs in your midfield and your CDM who doesn't know the role. You can tell Wijnaldum just doesn't understand it, and he shows it every game. When he attacks, he's got all the energy to attack, but he just can't track and cover runs. He doesn't get it. And then you got weakness with your centre back. So in all three areas and units of the pitch, you have problems. So you have to now adjust for that and maybe go to a complete counter-attacking style of game.
Do you think Klopp will change?
The ball, hit the break.
Do you think Klopp will change?
To dominate the game.
Personally, they won't. I think
do you think
he's going to stick with his way of playing because that's what he's been doing and he's been successful. So I reckon he's just going to carry on doing what he's doing. Maybe
if you know,
that's about it.
We say every week. We say if they make the adjustments we're saying, they can still get into the top four. And every week the adjustments don't come. Even when they won 2-0
against Sheffield.
We were still very critical of the performance. That our analysis was, there's a lot to be worried about because Sheffield United is treated.
Sheffield United 2-0 win, we won. Let's be honest, Sheffield United are a poor team. We didn't do anything special there. We expected to win even with a depleted Liverpool team as it is. But it's really, really concerning that now I don't know what's Klopp's thinking about behind it. If he's going to change it or he's not going to change it.
There's too much doubt as well around the club right now. And obviously, there may be no foundation to the rumors, but there is still too much rumors. There's rumors about whether Klopp wants to stay. Now they're saying he might want to go to Germany. Then you got the rumors about people wanting Stevie G in. Then you got rumors around player unhappiness. Players not happy playing out of position, favoritism from Klopp. There's so many negatives around the club right now.
100%
for the players to perform.
On that, really, do you think if even goes out to both of you, do you think if Klopp doesn't qualify for the Champions League with Liverpool, do you think he should get sacked?
No.
He's overachieved with Liverpool. I mean, he's got them.
Are you saying that they were one season wonder or something like that?
You have to still factor in the injury crisis that they've had. That's the real thing. We're being critical not of Klopp as a manager when he's got his best players. I mean, they play some of the best football. We're being critical of his lack of understanding to adjust to the problems of his team.
Yep.
And we're not doing it because, it's because we're just surprised. It's more surprise and a shock that 5 home losses in a row, and you're still seeing the exact same.
Exactly the same thing.
You'll see with Oli. We talk about his systems and all that, but he still changes things from game. But something ain't working. He's trying something new. This has been the same problem for a long time. 3rd month in. And it's exactly the same answers. And there is that rotation of players. Origi does not get a chance. Shaqiri. You just think, surely when you can see the belief in the players going, you got to start reinvigorating things. You got to start finding different solutions just to bring the belief back.
100%. You have to look at it. You have to look at it like this: is the fact that in the last 8 games we won 1 game, or 7 games we won 1 game against Sheffield United, excluding the Champions League, okay? And we play the same players, and the results haven't been coming. Now, my understanding is, you can see the same thing week in, week out. You're not winning games. Play an Oxlade-Chamberlain. He hasn't played. Give him a few games, 3-4 games. Play Origi. Might not be great. Play Shaqiri. Might not be great. Give him 3-4 games. We sent Minamino out on loan. And he's gone to Southampton, and who don't create as much as Liverpool do, and he's scoring goals. And when he was at Liverpool, either Klopp didn't trust him or doesn't believe in him, but he didn't play him. So, you have to look at situations like that where, everyone's waiting for Jota to come back.
Well,
Jota will come back.
Started in the second half.
Yeah, he's back. But is the fortunes going to change on one player? What lies is a much bigger problem than, bringing Jota back. Because there's too many players that are out of form. The system's not working. The formation's not working. There's two things you can do. Either you change the system to play and try different systems for you to counteract the problems that you have, or Klopp is sitting there thinking, I'm going to play this way, I'm going to see it through, and then at the end of the season, he's going to walk. It seems like that. It seems like that. But at the same time, I do think that the board haven't helped him, at all in the situation that he's in. But however, my concern is, yes, Klopp, you have injuries. As a Liverpool, we know you got Van Dijk out, Gomez out, Matip out, you have Henderson out, we had Thiago out for a while, we had Mane out, we had all these players out. But the system, the way you play, is still the same.
But I think there's something to be said about that too, is, the high press style does create more injuries when the games are this thick and fast. I mean, and then to compile it, how many of these injuries are self-inflicted? You're not rotating your squad.
Yep.
Not rotating your squad. When Jota was on form, you weren't giving him that much game time. Mane was always going to get injured. Players was, always going to have injuries when you're not rotating your squad.
I mean, they were really fortunate last year with not having much injury.
I think he managed the squad better, but he was able to as well, because it was a normal season up until the first lockdown. So he was able to rotate the squad. But you could see he was playing Origi more. He was trusting players more. And since lockdown, he's become not trusting of the players, keeping to the same lineup, and obviously the summer decision to make Fabinho your fourth choice centre back is backfiring heavily, because it was a risky decision. But I think that's why they brought Thiago in, with that in mind, that if they had defensive problems, they'll put Fabinho in there. But if you look at the records of all these players, I mean, Fabinho has regularly had injury problems. Even last season, even though he played more than, he kept missing 2-3 games here and there. There were never major injuries, but they're regular minor injuries he gets. Joe Gomez has a history of injuries.
Yes.
Who else is it?
Henderson, same. Henderson does mistakes.
So I just think that always, they took risks in the summer. They didn't act like a big team.
The crazy thing is we never expected to have that many injuries together at one time. However, it's happened. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm talking about Liverpool, and we need to talk about Chelsea a little bit today. Let's talk about Chelsea. We know what's happening with Liverpool, and I hope Klopp finds the solution and finds something. Do something to get the results in, because the quicker he changes, the quicker we might get some improvement. But let's talk about Chelsea. Tuchel, I'm amazed. I didn't expect him to hit the ground running when he came along. I thought, he's at PSG. I know he did wonders at Dortmund. Don't get me wrong, but he went to PSG and he carried some big ego players. And he got to, I think, Champions League final last year, wasn't it?
How far do you
Champions
think
League final?
On your point, how far do you think Tuchel can go? Can he finish second with this Chelsea team? Do you think he can?
I think Tuchel will get top 4. I think Chelsea will be very hard to beat.
Second place?
We said
no. I can't physically say what position they'll come, but I think they'll be in the top 4 definitely.
I I still think Chelsea have a problem with finishing and creating clear-cut shots. Even though today's goal was great, and today was the first day again, so every adjustment they made, you have to commend, because every other game previously they attacked down the wings. Today was the first time they went straight down the middle, over the top early. So they abandoned their build-up play that we're talking about that they do, where they get out wide and then it's an aimless ball in, and there's no real creativity when the ball goes out wide. Today was different. You know, even when they kept possession, it's always to go straight through the middle. So they attacked more down the middle today. But I still feel they have a problem with finishing and creating real clear-cut shots. They got the formation, the tactics, everything in place to do it. So they can get second. It all depends on Werner. For me, it depends on the confidence Werner gets. If Werner gets the run of goal-scoring form, they can get there. But I'm still unconvinced about the finishing.
It seems like Chelsea were kind of aided by Liverpool's lack of defensive cohesion, really. And
see, Hassan, what you have to look at is in the past few games, Giroud's been playing for Chelsea, what Sheffield say, and they've been taking the ball down the flank and they've been crossing it for Giroud too. However, he tactically changed it today. You know, he played Werner down the middle, he exploited Liverpool, and he worked and he got the points. You know, finishing second, third, or fourth, it makes no difference. You're making Champions League. What matters is when you finish top. You know, you don't get a trophy for being second, you don't get a trophy for being third or fourth. I think Chelsea will make top four. But what I can see, what Chelsea are progressing, I can see that, yes, he's got a structure in place. Yes, he might have certain players that doesn't suit his style, and he's going to get obviously a few transfer windows to get his own type of players in. But he gets top four, and I'm sure Abramovich will open that purse up and say,
when you look at the way Chelsea backed Lampard in the summer, you got to worry, because you know they're going to back Tuchel, and there's already these rumors that they're going to give him 200 mil. So we all know that Chelsea is always a threat because they will back their manager, and Tuchel is a player who's known to attract players. He's good with big egos, big names. He you know, under his management, Neymar extended his contract. Neymar was really happy under him. Few issues with Mbappe, but still, in general, Mbappe was happy to play under him. Di Maria was happy to play. So, you know, he can attract the players. He can keep them happy. Look, even now, he's got a huge squad. He's got an array of attacking talent. He's rotating and keeping everyone on sun. He's giving everyone games. Everyone was worried about Chilwell. He's played the last 2 games. You know, he's using his squad and trusting everyone and getting a buy-in from everyone. So I just think, for next season, and with a pre-season behind him as well, we all know he is tactically, you know, he's one of the best. He's really good on the training ground. I really do think if he gets a proper summer with the players, proper pre-season, and there's a big question mark around that because of the Euros, Chelsea are a real force and a real threat next season. Maybe not for the title because they still don't have the experienced players, proven players, but they're just going to get stronger and stronger. I mean, their rebuild is looking solid already.
Thank you, Adil. I mean, it seems like a real positive future ahead for Chelsea, really. Thank you both for coming on today. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.